Hello. Okay. Now we are ready for the last session of today. Thank you very much. I hope you have had very good, fruitful discussions. And we are going to now welcome Susanne Brink from Umeå, who has been invited by the SOTEL team. And she's going to talk about her experience. She has received the prize as excellent teacher in Umeå and is going to share some experiences with us. Unfortunately, we don't have any room for questions, and therefore, if we have questions for her, we would like to take it in the discussion outside. And this is nice weather. We're just going to have it outside Q1. All right? You ready? Thank you.
All right, can you hear me? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that goes well. So thanks for inviting me to come and speak to you here. I am an industrial design engineer. I have been educated in Delft, at the TU Delft in the Netherlands. And for 5 years ago, I moved to Sweden, ended up in Umeå, and I'm working there as an associate professor in higher education pedagogics. So somewhere between being a designer and now I picked up some educational sciences studies and tried to incorporate that in my practice. And today I wanted to talk about learner experience perspectives and what we can do with them in the current times that we have, where resources are small and there are multiple challenges coming at us. We shouldn't forget about that learner, and you'll see that that's the student, but that's also us sometimes. So being taught as a designer, I have always learned that the design process looks something like this. Or they always say it looks like this, but that was the reality. And it comes in multiple forms, but the steps are always the same. There is this phase where you dive into the matter, you see what's going on, then you ideate, you come with a prototype, you test it, you listen to how it does, and then you improve it. And this is this ongoing cycle. It's an iterative process. And at The Hague University, where I was head of program in industrial design engineering, we visualized it like this for our students. We said, basically, you have to do research, and it's an action to do research. Then you have to communicate about it. You have to design and engineer. Those are things that you're doing. You have to organize and manage all your work, and you have to learn, and that's somewhere in the heart. And that has never left me. This is like a record, you know, when you had your record collection, and then you gave them all away, and then you come in a record store and you see that one record and you think, oh yeah, but that was so good. And I keep having that with this approach. It has never left me, even in my current research. So I wanted to talk about 4 challenges, design challenges, that you can look at from a learner's experience perspective, and that we can use to improve our courses and our programs. And that's something we continuously need to work on, because that learner continuously changes as well. So it's an ongoing process that never stops. The first is empathy for the learner, empathy for the student. And here, being taught as an engineer, it already starts to get a little woozy, but it's so important. And during my career, I have often been accused of having 2 pink glasses when I look at the students. I think they're amazing. They can do so much. Their potential is unlimited. And then they're always like, oh, yeah, you're so positive about them. But I do believe that that's so important. When we expect the best, we get the best. And working on this empathy, about thinking about who it is that you have in your classroom in front of you, trying to mentally walk in their shoes and see what it is to experience that and which emotions come at it, is super important if you want to design these really meaningful and effective learning experiences. And if we are taking time to do that, then we might as well do it in a way that makes it really effective. I've been doing multiple curriculum innovation processes with the different universities, both in the Netherlands and in Sweden. And there we used this design thinking method of making personas, making these archetypical descriptions of students, not stereotypes, but archetypes. Who is it that we have in our room? What is the typical mechanical engineering student or physics student or design student? How diverse are they? Where do they come from? What do they think? What do they want from us? What do they expect? And by making those students, giving them a name, giving them a picture, the team that works with this new curriculum design or new course design really starts feeling sort of a love for the student. Like, oh yeah, but this is going to be really good for this student or that student. So together with also Vic Berry from LTU, we've been analyzing all these cases that I've done over a span of 7 years. And we've seen that it's important to think about the background, about the personality of the learner, the student, but also think about their learning behavior and their motivation so that you really get some hooks that you can use for your education. And think about their learning needs so you can fulfill them, start fulfilling them. So then you get students like Jorkos, and Jorkos is a student persona that I use in my. I have workshops on those are called NPF included, where we work with programs to see how they can enrich their teaching in a way that it includes the neurodiverse also. So besides that, Jorkos has perhaps some diagnosis that we don't know exactly. There is a lot about Jorkos that we want to know. So working with these, and Jorkos is not alone, there are 6 of them, really helps the teachers to think about, okay, but this would work really well for Jorkos because he likes a little bit of flexibility. Yeah, but then May doesn't really thrive because she needs structure. So how do we do that? How do we make sure that all of our students' needs are met? Then when you've got those sets of personas, and each set is different for a different team of teachers that look at it, or a different teacher that looks at it for his course, you can take them on a journey through your course, or through your program, or through whatever unit it is that you want to analyze. And then you look at the feelings they have at the moments where they come in contact with you, what desires they have, and if they're met or not. And you can do that very functional also. You can also really think like, okay, but which subject matter am I giving them at what moment during the journey so that they will do well? And you can also look at more well-being things. So I tend to challenge teachers to think about where in your course do they get this sense of belonging? Where do they get this sense of mastery? And when do they get that? Do you give them autonomy at some points? Because those things we know are important for their motivation. We are always so concerned with everything that they have to do, and they have to work hard, and they have to work the 40 hours. But where is the återhämtning? Where is the recovery? Where do they get to reflect on what they've learned? So it's really interesting to take these personas through these journey maps. And you could think that this, yeah, okay, but should this be part of my course? I'm teaching a topic. Isn't this sort of the responsibility of the student, him or herself? And that's where we come with the second challenge, and that's that of student agency. How do we make the students feel in control of their learning, that they really feel the ownership that they need to be able to thrive and to be aware of how they're learning? So there's a responsibility for us to secure this in the design of our courses and programs. And in Sweden, we're working with constructive alignment, and it's in the law, I've been told many times when I came to visit here, when I came to live here. And that's okay. This is a good start. You know, this is the minimum you want. But I've noticed that when I have lifelong learners in my classroom, people who are working, who have a lot of experience and come to develop and learn more, something goes wrong a bit, because there's learning objectives of the course, but they have their own, and they come from a certain professional area where things are asked, and they come to me because they want to be developing certain skills that are necessary for them. And if they're lucky, the learning activities cover that. And then there is this assessment. And the assessment perhaps doesn't feel that authentic to them. It feels a little bit like jumping through a hoop, and that's rather meaningless. So I'm reflecting on this, and this is work in progress that you see here. But I think that the lifelong learners are more interested in how to manifest that they have learned. I will use the cursor, that was easier. There we go. How to manifest the things that they learn, because they want to use it in practice right away. Their learning goals, they have their personal learning goals. Is there room in a course for that? The profession gives them certain specifics. And then there's this little bit of Bildung also inside there. So when we set up, I got freedom to set up a new course at UPL where I work, and it was for senior academic staff who have been teaching for a long time and want to develop. And then I thought, okay, this is going to be flexible, and they're going to we're going to have some container learning goals, very holistically written, and they're going to add their own personal learning goals, and then we're going to work with that and see at the end of the course if they have reached those. So we gave them, every month there is one workshop, and you see a bit of the titles of what those workshops are. And it's all about communicating for learning. How do I communicate in a way that helps learning? And then they get to choose whatever workshop they want. They need to do 4 to do the course, and they need to come to 3 course days. And the interesting thing is that with giving them this opportunity to write their own learning goals, think of their own project, and work in this way, their student behavior, because they can also show student behavior, is going down enormously. So no longer do I have to sit at an end presentation and think, well, that was like the minimum done. Now they'll write me an email and say, I'm going to teach this tomorrow. I haven't been able to test it yet, so can I do this next time instead? Yeah, sure, no problem. There's several participants who've gone to 9, 10 workshops instead of the 4. And they keep coming even after they've finished the course. And this tells me that there's something right here about their agency. They get to choose, they get to see what is useful for them. And it's a lot of fringe learning. It's not, not in that tiny triangle of the constructive alignment. Of course, we as teachers have to do a lot of things, and we have to be so many different things. In Dutch, we're saying you have to be a sheep with 5 legs, so very a jack of all trades. This is an actual sheep. It's alive. It was born in Northumberland in 2018, and it's called Fiver. And we all know the dichotomy. We hear, yeah, you have to be, or you were the sage on the stage, and now you have to be this guide on the side. And guide on the side doesn't really sound that good, does it? But we can put so much between that. We could be a fascinating storyteller. Some of us are. I'm in awe of those. You can be a coach on call, there for the students when they need you. You can be an expert at disposal. You can be a mentor in a mix, and there's a nice alliteration, a humble helper, anything but not this destructive discourager or the apathic person who's discouraging and he's sort of apologetic. Yeah, I'm going to teach you things. It's not interesting, I know, but that really kills motivation. But a researcher called Lonneke Vrie has done really interesting work on flexperts, as she calls them. And maybe we can be flexpert teachers. And that means that everything in there is there, because we develop our expertise and we add to it while we do it. So it changes, our roles change through time, but we add to the expertise. And like our keynote speaker said this afternoon at 1 o'clock, maybe we're all just reciprocal learners. And this is super interesting to think about. What is it that I bring, and how much do I get back from my students and learn from them? Which brings me to challenge number 3, and that's the non-linearity of learning. We tend to take learning as a very linear process. First you do the basics, and then you can apply them, and then you do it in a different context. And you can't start too complex, you have to build it up. But the reality isn't that way. If we look at how our learning processes work, they're much more looping, they're messy. And so when we try to structure the education in such a linear way, we're sort of mismatching with what is actually happening. And when we were redesigning our curriculum in the Hague Open Innovator Industrial Design Engineering, we did a lot of things differently for the students. So they got to choose half-year courses themselves, and they got freedom to choose whether they wanted to do it because they wanted to become an expert, if they wanted to choose a course which they were already good in, become even better, or if they wanted to be a generalist that gets a little of everything. So there was no entry boundaries for them. And they got to choose which competences, which learning goals they were going to show at assessments every 5 weeks that they had learned. So they were really in control of their own learning. And the first project, even though there wasn't a choice yet, was already super complex. It was a real client, everything had to be in there. And then we made them do that the first week. They had to come with the end result. We said, okay, so design it in a week. And then we gave them 5 weeks to redo it. And then they had 5 more weeks, 7, 8, 9 more weeks to make the third iteration. And every time they went deeper, and they had questions, and they wanted to learn things, and they learned math and physics and everything that they had so much hardship in learning in 2 years before, they learned within their first half year. So it was really interesting how you can work with that looping, messy process that learning is. It's a bit Montessori who spoke of the sensitive moments. If you create those sensitive moments, the learning can go so fast, it's amazing. I like to use animals in my analogies, and when I do those innovative innovation processes, sometimes I use this picture when people are trying to stuff too much in the program. Yeah, but this is also important, and now they need AI, and now they need this, and it becomes so much, it becomes this huge cat that's trying to look like he fits into the box. And then during the process, as we try to renew the program, I see this often happening. So the box has only gotten smaller. It looks, the cat's just sticking in his head, so it looks like he fits, but he still does not fit. At a certain point, I got this really, really nice association back from a group where they said, okay, so maybe our curriculum needs to be this. Just tiny kittens that we give them, and those kittens will grow up. They grow up faster than we want to because they're so cute and they always grow up so fast. But when we give that, when we teach that, they will grow into full-blown cats after the students are done with us. And there's room now. There's room for other things and choices and the time for recovery and reflection and everything that you heard today. So an interesting way to think about it, if you don't take the learning as linear. Now, doing this kind of changing and reframing of your education is hard, and a lot of people come very quickly with all the barriers that make it impossible, or we shouldn't even start. So there can be, no, but this will give students way much choice stress if it's so flexible. We don't have the competence. The national competency profile doesn't allow for this. I often heard it's not my responsibility. And there's these laws that don't work with us, or we have systems that limit us. Yes, and overarching things like there's vision or it's not in line with the vision. So this is where the fourth challenge comes in, and that's the curriculum agility project I've been working on for the last 7 years, together with Elizabeth Keller from KTH, where we looked at and we saw that curriculum innovation, so changing the curriculum, improving it, has become this really big challenge, almost wicked, I would say. There's a scale of stakeholders, there's ambiguous aims, variable values. Everybody has a bit different values in what is good education and where it should go to. Different definitions of, often we think we talk about the same thing, but we don't. It's super complex. So with a whole group of co-creators during CDIO conferences at first, but later also other conferences, we went in depth into this. What do we need to be able to respond when changes are needed, when our student body changes or technology comes at us like AI now does, or a pandemic comes? How can we be ready to respond in a timely manner? And that's what curriculum agility is all about. So making your content of learning dynamic, being able to change it when needed, making the pedagogy flexible and adjusted to the diverse students, making the management and the organization responsive and being open to change, and having a continuous development of all staff, not just the teachers, because if we have to take decisions about new ways of teaching, we need to know why and how we do that. So all those barriers I just showed you, we talked a lot about how can we deal with this? How can we tame the bears on the road, the barriers that we see? And that became the 10 principles of curriculum agility, which you see here. And I don't have the time to go into each and every one. There was some of you who were at my workshop and you've heard a bit more about it. But the yellow ones here, they're all from a learner experience perspective. They are there to make the learning better and the student feel more included into the learning and feel more agency. And this is a responsibility we all have and we need to do jointly, and that is complex in our current organizational structures, but it's not impossible. And several processes and examples have shown that actually. So all layers should be involved within the university in that sense. So those were my challenges, where I think that this integrated co-creative approach, it's not easy, but it's so necessary. And it's also a way for us to be learners and to continuously develop. So we don't need to do courses or separate things per se. Perhaps we just need to be in dialogue with each other, thinking about where is it that we need this room for movement, and learning from each other what the problems are that arise then. So just having that dialogue might help. Thank you for your attention.
Since you're going back, we didn't
Yeah,
the flowers.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you for Susanne for the keynote speak. So now time for the summary, reflection, and conclusion part of this conference. We will invite all the PRIO group leaders to give their reflections and tell you what will happen next in their groups. So the PRIO groups, they are, as you perhaps know, cross-school, cross-functional working groups, and they work between Storträffen meetups. They meet 2 to 4 times between each meeting. And everyone is welcome to join a PRIO group to work on their favorite topics. And we have 8 topics, 8 groups, and 8, there's 1 or 2 leaders of each group. And sadly, we are missing one leader, Mats Nilsson, who passed away a few months ago. So he was a leader of student perspective and influence. And it was also a very good contributor to Storträffen meetup. I think he was contributing with the discussion every Storträff meetup since 2018. So we have all 17 of the previous meetups. So we miss him much. So now 2 minutes for each preview group, and Erik here will give you 10 seconds before 2 minutes, you will get a pling. And I start with pre-assessment methods. I'm one of the leaders for this group, and Elisabeth is the other. Elisabeth, there you are. There were lots of talk about assessment today, and kanske in two of the discussions they were very concentrated on assessment. We had the peer assessment, that is a learning activity, and the time-saving strategy. And there we got lots of examples of how peer assessment can be used in different ways, using different methods and in different parts of a course. So this is really a useful learning activity and also time-saving for the teacher. And there was also a discussion about assessing the process, not the product, which is important in an AI universe. So at the next meeting in our group, which will be on June 11, the topic will be using computers for assessment. And then Elisabeth will be the expert telling us more about this. So you are welcome to go directly to this meeting, or you can contact us for more information. That's all for us. Now, next, Johan.
Thank you very much, Viggo. So this group is discussing connections to professional practice and engagement with external organizations. Today we had three main themes. We were informed about KTH strategic partnerships, but we also informed about two possibilities for teachers. One is to post your project courses on the web to find new companies or external organizations to engage with your project course. You had a QR code on the left-hand side, but we also today open a call for stimulating outgoing mobility, that you can spend time outside KTH at an organization, external organization. So that is open now, and you have a QR code for that as well. So these two topics we will follow up after the summer in September 18. And these two opportunities you have now to engage until then. So the information is out there, and you're welcome to join the meeting after the summer to continue the dialogue. Thank you.
And let's see, next is Magnus.
Yes, this is about the prior group for digitalization, and as you know, this is something which is happening all over, and our prior group is trying to be in the forefront here and discuss the issues which are about to happen, because our organization is doing things which are happening. So that is our main goal. So we are looking from a bottom-up forum. So anyone can come and ask to suggest a title or an idea which they want to discuss. So that's our main idea. The theme of today was AI bots and what they can do and how we want to do them. And I think there was a very lively discussion about that in two different sessions. And a number of ideas came up. So it was using them as assistants, using them to help students find information which is already available in Canvas, for example, about courses. They asked many questions about that. It also came up with using it for correcting exams, or at least giving a suggestion for how to correct exams. However, I think the deploring thing was that the previous said that we are not quite there yet when it comes to the technology, but I guess that within a few years we would probably be close to that. Another issue was that we have to think about how to use them, because if you go out to industry, they will ask you to use AIs to get information as quickly as possible. But for our case in learning, we maybe want them to teach students. And then we should ask for what I call a Socratic AI. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next group. Charlotte. Marika.
Hello, Marika Strömberg from the property department. And we discussed experience of new ways to teach the new digitally savvy accustomed student. How do we get students to learn? We had about 40 deltagare in Swedish. We did round 1 was AI discussion, advantage and consequences of AI. Disadvantages, for example, ChatGPT can provide incorrect information. Advantage using AI as a discussion partner for developing an initial idea could be good. Write code, ChatGPT gives a perfect answer to that. And in round 2, we had nothing about AI. We discussed more various techniques and pedagogical methods, how to attract students to campus and to class, the question of who should do the work, the teacher or the student, attendance, you only get the material if you show up, visualized literature, students don't read course literature because it's so boring. And the next meeting is the 4th of June, and we meet at close to in V3, that is in the Teknikringen 76, close to this new sculpture. And we will discuss a bit about developing campus and how art can have how you can have art as a discussion partner. Yes.
Thank you. Let's see, Anne.
Anne-Katrin Peters, Department of Learning, and I am leading the Prio Group for Gender Equality, Diversity and Equal Opportunities. And the most important message today is that we're looking for a second leader, someone who can stand here with me next time. And this we will also, I'm thinking, use as an opportunity for a new beginning, thinking about what do we want to meet around, how do we want to organize ourselves. And yeah, one idea maybe is to look at what's happening in the world, look at what's happening in the USA, where we see a counter movement against these values, and perhaps to create a movement, like a movement for equality here at KTH, and together around what we're doing and how we can do more and learn together and join forces. So, yeah, and we have also been talking about collaboration with other prior groups, for example, sustainability, who also want change, and a better word. So, yeah, more ideas are very welcome. If you want to become a leader and do this together with me, reach out and send an email, and then we'll meet again in autumn.
Thank you, Anne. Ida?
Yeah, the Prio group of KTH teaches lifelong learning. Unfortunately, I missed the discussion, but I get some notes from the group that discuss what is higher education pedagogy today at KTH and what do we need to be tomorrow. And they didn't agree so much, but it was the individual level and the organization level. What is the incentives for teachers to engage more than the 50 credits, and how will this also support the need of KTH's pedagogical development? we will have time to discuss it more during the fall, when we will have a meeting in this group. If you feel that you have the time, please, you can until then take more courses that we offer next semester. And it's a very long link, but you can search for högskolepedagogik at KTH in your web reader and you'll come to our courses. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Elisabeth, you want to say something about student perspective? Is Elisabeth here? She's managing something. So this was the group that Mats Nilsson was leading. So we miss a leader here. So you can contact Elisabeth if you're interested to be in the group or even become the new leader of this group. And the last group, Sustainable Development and Education.
Hello, my name is Helene Hermansson and I work as a project manager at KTH Sustainability Office. And I am one of the PRIO group leaders of this PRIO group for sustainability and education, together with Anders Rosén, who is not here today. Well, KTH is right now in the process of formulating the new sustainability objectives for, among other things, education. So this was one of the things that we briefly discussed, looking at the current objectives and a little bit about the process right now and the work that is being done, trying to formulate the new objectives. And also trying to send out the message to all of you that if you have ideas regarding the current objectives or the coming objectives, you can contact me if you have ideas regarding this. So we discussed how far have we come in integrating sustainable development into our programs and what is needed to take the next step. And the discussion concerned a lot about competence. Teachers need competence, not only pedagogical competence, but also real knowledge about these issues in order to be able to teach about them. And how do we do that? We also discussed that the objectives had been of very much value for many and that without the objectives not much would have been done, but the teachers need support. And they also need freedom to be able to formulate the sustainability in the way that is suitable for their programs. The next meeting will be in autumn. Right now, me and Anders are following up on the current sustainability objective, arranging 4 workshops with program directors and discussing the integration of sustainability. But you can see through the autumn we will have these 3 meetings, and one of them will be to discuss the following up that we are working on right now, and also a chance to discuss the new sustainability objectives. So you are all welcome if you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Helene, and thanks to all 8 PU group leaders. Now let's give the floor to the students and let them reflect on what's happened today. 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Iris. I sadly lost my 2 colleagues during the day. But I hope I can speak on behalf of all of us. This was a very enjoyable and thought-provoking day, I thought. The fact that Ricardo started the day off with talking so much about the teacher and student relationship and the reciprocal sort of relationship between us, that carried with me throughout the day, and I thought that all of the discussions that followed reflected that truly. And I was also very happy to hear Susanne come back to it again now at the end. And it has been a very interesting day where I think, the spirit of Storträffen, where you can have those discussions that are more, well, with the högt i tak. What do we say in English? Where discussions that we don't normally have at KTH about further reaching sort of questions that are, well, beyond the normal day-to-day nitty-gritty discussions, such as, I can't even come up with the examples, but it has really been an eye-opening day, and I'm very thankful for the Storträff as a, well, place where we can truly do the sort of, well, the exchange between students and teachers, faculty, other KTH personnel beyond that. Thank you so much, Viggo and Elisabeth, and everybody who has, well, held this day together.
Next to speak is our dean again, Sofia.
So I've got the challenge, which I didn't have any resources for, to summarize this day. I brought a lot with me from the discussion that I have had and from the curiosity and engagement that I see among my colleagues and among the students. Anders said that we can move from being excellent to even more excellent. That puts even higher pressure on us, but perhaps we can actually just rest in being excellent. Perhaps that is good enough. I also brought along from the introduction from Ricardo's speech that it's important to taking learning seriously. I think that's a good, these are good words for the whole meetup. And he also talked about the importance of being experimental, experiential, and share exploration. These are things that I really bring along and see that we need to embrace in our teaching. Then we went on to the parallel sessions, and it turned out that I joined the only cancelled workshop. But what we did then was we were at least 8 people in the room or something like that. So I think we did what is the best sign of the meetup and how we work with educational development. That we all thought that the theme, broadened participation, was so important, so we could discuss it without a leader. And we had a very good discussion where we shared experiences and informed each other and got new insights. So even a cancelled workshop is actually a workshop. Then I joined several conversations, and I also took part in the conversation conversation on PRIO groups and how they can be formed and developed. And I had to look up, what do we say about a PRIO group? What is that? And I saw that what we have said is then when a prioritized educational issue is identified, a PRIO group can be formed. So this is really the bottom-up approach on how we would like to see structures and organizations of how to work with different educational issues or challenges. But there are some support and some learnings that could be made also from this. So please contact me or Viggo or Elisabeth, and we can assist you in how to start up a PRIO group and how to manage a PRIO group. And we are yearly trying to get all the experiences shared among the PRIO groups, also from the Faculty Council. And then I really took with me from Susanne's speech that learning takes place in the heart. And I actually think that this is where I would like to stop. Learning takes place in the heart. So thanks very much for today.
Thank you, Sofia. And this is the end of the Storträffen meetup. this spring, but we will. You will find the recordings and the discussion leaders' summaries soon. And you can find them on the KTH web page for Storträffen Meetup. And also the slides that we have shown will be able to find. You will be able to find perhaps next week. Okay, we have one award to hand out, the Storträffen Meetup Participant Recruitment Award. Because if you inspire new participants to Storträffen Meetup, you may earn this award. And this year the winner is Gabrielle Paulsson Berne. Are you here? Still here? As I saw her before. No, so let's give her an applause.
It says Storträffen rekryteringspristagarna. So we are going to give this to her somehow. Yes.
And then we have a special award for long time work at Storträffen, namely Jocke. Please come down. Who has streamed the Storträffen Meetup and recorded it for so many years.
Yes, as you may know, he's retiring. He has officially signed his retirement papers. So this is the last time that he's going to do this for us, and we are very happy for your work. So the Storträffen and the Sottle team would like to say thank you very much for your work all these years. Thank you.
Very much. And as usual, we have an evaluation survey, and you can find it on this QR code and also on our web page. The next Storträffen Meetup will be on December the 1st. We will be here, and it will be in Swedish. And there will be a KTH Pedagogical Prize winner, and will be the discussions that you suggest. So we will have a form for suggestions for the next Storträff meetings, discussions up about 2 months before the meetup, so in the beginning of October. So look out for that form. Now you are welcome to some after talk and mingle outside the Q building. Elisabeth has one more thing to say.
We just wanted to thank the students who have helped us. We have had 3, Erik, Maya, and I forgot her name. Sorry, Emily. But they are all in different places. We only have Erik here represented. So let's give them an applause. Thank you for your help. It's very important. So please step out and let's have a discussion. Thank you very much for today.